Hey guys, welcome to the part 4 of the training. This is the last part of this free training, and without further ado, let's just dive right into it. So, this training is going to be about creating a 2 hour deep workflow and hook like focus that's going to help you get to your business goals faster. So, back in the day, if someone told me that a 2 hour deep work block in a complete flow, undistracted, focused on one task at a time, can get me faster and further to my goals than a person who works 8 hours unfocused all over the place multitasking, then if someone told me that, I would probably not believe them completely, because how can you get in 2 hours more done than a person in 5 or 8 hours, so that was a really interesting thing to think about. And once I went deeper to study this deep work and entering the flow state and how to have hawk like focus, once I've been studying this, then I found out that it's very possible. And if you have a system, and if you make sure that you structure everything correctly, you can actually achieve that, and you can you can progress to your goals faster than any other person that doesn't have this system. And this system is going to be revealed for you in this training, so you can take an inspiration, you can learn from it, and then try for yourself and see incredible results happening. So, step number one is to look at the to-do list you've done the night before. So the first things first, if you haven't created your to-do list or list of tasks that you have to do for that particular day, I covered this in part 1 of the training. So if you haven't done it, then go back, create it, or at least understand the concept of how to create needle moving tasks for your every single day for yourself. So you have that to-do list, because if you don't know what you're working on, you're going to procrastinate and you're not going to get anything done. So it's really important to have that to-do list, or it could be any type of list of tasks that you know on what you should be working on, and making sure that it's prioritized. So you want to know what's the number one task that you are going to do, and then progress towards the tasks that have priority number 2 and priority number 3. So that's really important for you to have. So if you haven't done it, go back and do it. And if you did it, then it's amazing. Congratulations, you're ready for step number 2, which is creating a work habit or a work routine. So just like a morning or night routine, there are certain steps and activities you do every time that make it a routine, right? And make it a habit. So the same applies to your work. So you want to create a system, a set of activities that you follow each and every day, preferably at the same time, that would help you get into the zone without even thinking about it. So that's the secret to high productivity and efficiency. So just to give you an example, here is my work routine, right? So for example, the first thing I do is grab a cup of coffee. Second thing, I sit behind my desk. Third thing, I open my Todoist app. Then I review my task based on importance and priority. Then I put my headphones on, play my specific playlist, set a timer using Rise.io. I'm going to be talking about later in this training. And then I start working on that one activity. I close all the tabs and I just work on that one thing. Maybe I have 2 tabs open because I need those 2 tabs, but essentially the point is that minimalism is really important here, and that you don't have like 2 screens at a time, and watching on one YouTube videos, and on the other one you try to work, right? So that's how my work routine looks like. And you can create a similar routine for yourself. Create triggers and anchors as I did. So for example, my anchors and my triggers to create this work habit is to grab a cup of coffee and play this specific playlist that I've made for myself, that instantly primes me to get my work done, the specific type of work, right? So, which is incredibly helpful, because even when I don't feel like it, I just play that playlist and I just do the work, no matter how I feel. So for you, it could be lighting up a candle, or pouring yourself a cup of tea, saying the word focus out loud to yourself, clapping your hands. It could be literally anything. Find something that works for you. Find your trigger, find your anchor, and follow it and create it, and implement it in your work routine. So another hack that I've discovered that helps me a lot to get into that flow zone and get into that work routine, which is pretty much before I set a timer and work, that I've been using for some time, not like consistently, but especially on the days when I need it, is that I play 2 to 5 minutes of pink noise or forehead binaural beats just for 2 or 5 minutes, that will help me concentrate better on the task ahead and will help me get into the flow state. easier. So yeah, it will help your brain to refocus from whatever you were doing before and help you enter the flow state faster. So once you've created your work routine, now let's move on to step number 3, which is making sure that you block out all the distractions that are out there. So no social media. If you need to use social media blockers as well as YouTube feed blockers or any site that like Reddit or Twitter or anything that you don't need. Block it and don't access it. And that's going to help you stay focused and not click off like here at the click the plus button and go on YouTube and watch random videos, right? So blocking the YouTube feed, also blocking the whole site, is going to help you do that. You have one tab open with one task in front of you with one display or monitor that you're looking at, unless you really need it, but make sure that you try to minimize this as much as possible. Your phone is away from you, turned off or airplane mode or in another room. When you're working on this really important task during this 2-hour session, you cannot be just reaching out for your phone and start scrolling on social media. You have to turn it off or put it somewhere where you don't see it when you're working on these important tasks. So if you need to use your phone, then delete social media for a couple of hours or have a second phone where you pretty much use it where there are no social media, but you use it for your work purposes. And once you are done with your work in the evening, you can download the social media and again, post the content or do whatever you need to do. And that will help you stay focused throughout your workday. So your doors are closed and you let your partner, family member, or friend know that you're working and you don't want to be bothered, and that you can talk to them right after you're done with your work, especially your deep work, or you can put a handle on the door, or you can use sticky notes to let other people know that now is not the time to interrupt you. So that's a game changer right here. And also, you're not playing any background podcast or music with lyrics that could distract you from your work. Again, depends on the work you're doing, but most of the time, if you play like background podcast or uplifting music, which makes you want to sing and dance, then it's very distracting, and you're going to lose focus on the task that you're working on. What I prefer to do is to create a playlist that consists of classical music or binaural beats or a deep house music, uplifting music, which I use no lyrics whatsoever. So you can pick from these 3 right here. So step number 4 is to set a timer on Rise.io for 90 minutes to 2 hours. And Rise is pretty much this app which you can download to your computer, and it's going to track all the activities that you're working on. You can track your work blocks, you can set timers, and it's very good widget and it's very good app to use to track where you spend your time while working and if you're spending your time correctly. So make sure you give this a try. It has a free trial and then a free option that I use just for tracking your time and activities that you're doing. So make sure you give this a go. Step number 5 is to focus on the most important tasks ahead of you, especially like one task ahead of you. When you want to click away and go on YouTube and scroll on social media, then close your eyes for a second, take a deep breath, and count from 10 to 0. That's going to help you refocus. And if you focus on your breath, if you just block out the noise, you stop doing whatever you were doing and you just focus on your breathing and counting from 10 to 0, you're going to stop thinking about the urges, the impulses that you had on going on social media, grabbing your phone, watching YouTube videos. It's going to help you refocus. And essentially, all of these inner thoughts that we have, those are the internal distractions, like I call them, and they can be the most disruptive, and they can be even more disruptive than any external distraction out there, because your mind is sometimes way more powerful than you think. So breathe and stop for 10 seconds to regain your focus, and then once you do that, continue with your work uninterrupted. If you need to do it multiple times per your deep work session, then do it. Once you build a habit of focusing without listening to your thoughts, then it's going to be very easy. But as everything, it's a skill. So once you start, do more repetition, and then it's going to be natural to you. And the last step is to, once you're done with your work blocks, let's just say 90 minutes or 2 hours went by and you are now taking your break, take around like 10 to 15 minutes to re-energize and refocus. Here are some ground rules to follow when you're on your break to make it efficient. So don't look at social media or read a book or study something because you're looking at the screen. You're focusing on one thing. So you don't want to grab a book and read something again, because that's not going to help you refocus and re-energize. So instead, play. Sorry, that was a typo. So do some push-ups. Um, yeah, let's ignore this. So do some push-ups, jumping jacks, or anything physical, or you can walk around your block, or do some sit-ups. Get the sunlight in, play with your cat and dog, dance and sing. Try to avoid listening to motivational speeches, podcasts, or listening to music for too long, because you may get unnecessary dopamine hits that would and it would be hard to get back to work and focus on the mundane, boring tasks, like we like to call them. So yeah, that was everything for this 4-part training. If you liked it, let me know in the comments, or reach out and let me know what are your thoughts. If you need help with anything when it comes to implementation, all of these things that I talked about during this training, then don't be afraid to reach out, and I'll be happy to help. And if you like this, then hit the thumbs up, subscribe for more videos and trainings that are upcoming, and see you in the next one.